Welcome, everybody, to the Planet B Photography Podcast. Today we've got Jaron Loggins on the other line, Master Jaron himself. Jaron's a photographer out of Atlanta, and it's a pleasure to have him in today. Jaron, how are you?
I'm doing good, Brad. How you doing?
Doing wonderful, man. Got the coffee rocking. We're ready to roll, man. Let's get into the origin story, man. What got you started in photography?
Well, I'm not from Atlanta. I'm up in the
Oh, shit.
northeast. Yeah,
Sorry.
no big deal. I'm from the northeast Georgia part of the country where the Appalachian Trail starts. So,
Gotcha.
so I have to make long drives down to Atlanta when I do get shows. But what really got me into photography, like from the beginning, it's kind of a pessimistic kind of thing. I had downloaded Instagram years ago. And at the time, it was still kind of new, but you know how Instagram gets that thing of being vain for everybody, posting
Yep.
selfies, narcissists and whatnot.
The highlight reel of everybody's life.
Yeah, making you feel bad about yours all the time.
Yep.
So when I was a little more pessimistic about things, I was like, I can take better pictures than these people. So I started off with my phone trying to just get better because I knew a little bit about screenplays, cinematography, and stuff from watching movies my whole life. So I already kind of knew the idea of how to frame things.
Right
And
on.
it just started from there. And I didn't want to buy a real camera until I knew I got good enough and happy with how I took pictures on my phone.
Yeah,
Because just because you have a stove doesn't make you a chef, you know what I mean?
exactly. That's a
So
perfect way of phrasing that.
So that's kind of how it built from there. I never got a college degree. I went to a local community college for a developmental education program, and they had one for photography. And I did like 12 classes, spent maybe about $3,000 total or less for 12, 13 classes over the span of like a year.
That's
I,
awesome.
and I got a certificate saying I could do it. I just wanted something to hang on the wall.
You're official. You're
Yeah, like,
officially
I
a
did that.
photographer.
Yeah, I did something, but as far as concerts go, I'd been going since I was 16. My first one ever was the supergroup Phantomus with Melt Banana opening up for them at the 40 Watt in Georgia,
Hell
and
yeah.
I was just kinda hooked after that because like, I'd never been to anything. Uh, Kinda grew up in a protective household. Not gonna get on into all that because that's depressing, but,
I feel
uh
same end on this end.
oh, yeah. The whole shebang, abuse, physical, verbal, mental, anything. Anyway, my mother never wanted me to go because, like, she would watch the news and be scared, like, "Oh
Yeah,
god,
it's the devil.
people get stabbed there, they get robbed, like, you'll do drugs," and I had a
Yeah,
older brother, 6 years, that went to college at UGA in Athens, Georgia, and he knew how bad of a household it was, so he would get me down there every chance he could.
that's
To kinda,
awesome.
like, get away from that and experience culture and shit like that for the first time. So he was like, "This band is crazy, you've gotta come see them." Um, it's called Phantomus, and it's like a whole bunch of people you've probably never heard of because up until then, it was like Rob Zombie and System of a Down, new metal kinda shit.
Yeah.
So but anyway, back to what back to your original question, man, I'm sorry.
No
Uh
worries, man. I love getting what gets people into like music in general. Everyone's got an origin story of what got them to their first show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. But it never clicked with me until maybe about 3-ish years ago. I wonder how I take pictures at shows because I've been to nearly 1,000 shows in like 20 years. It
Yeah.
never occurred to me that somebody like me could take pictures there because I always thought those people work for magazines, they know people. Like, that's just not me. I'm not one of those kind of people. I'm not important enough. I'm not
Exactly.
worthy enough. I can't do it. But I started seeing this one photographer's work, Becky DiGiglio. She's out in
Oh, I love Becky's work.
she like was the spark that ignited it.
Yeah.
There's definitely a few others that kind of inspired me to kind of do it how I do now, but
Yeah.
she just consistently like was putting out shit that I was like, these are good and unique. She's going against the grain on some of them. I can tell she's got
Yeah.
very I don't give a shit attitude, like what the basic formula and construction of a photograph should look like. I'm going to do what I want. And
Yeah.
that's just the impression I got.
Yeah.
So it was around that time I saw the Melvins and Boris were finally going to do a tour together. Uh, and a couple of years prior to that, me and a couple of friends had driven all the way from Georgia to LA to see the Melvins and Boris do a one-off show in LA. And that was the whole reason, like, we never driven across country
Yeah.
before. And these are our two favorite bands finally doing a show together. We're gonna go. We're gonna go.
Yeah.
Uh,
You can't not make it to that. It's like the stars have all aligned. It's just on the other side of the country.
mhm. So when I saw they were gonna do a whole uh nationwide tour, I was like, I've got to make that a goal. I've got to try.
Yeah.
So uh, I'm in Northeast Georgia, and we're not too far from a city called Gainesville. I'm about 25, 30 minutes from there. Kyle Sanders of the Kerry King band. He's the bass player.
Gotcha.
He played in Hell Yeah with Vinnie Paul and those Mudvayne guys, and
Yeah.
Monstro with my buddy Juan Montoya. He opened up a venue in Gainesville next to his school, Let There Be Rock Studios, which is like a rock musician school for kids and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoever really wants to learn. So he opened up his venue called the Blackstrap.
Okay.
I'd never heard of it. It had only been open a few months. And I sent him an email because, you know, I didn't really know what to do. I don't know if I show up like, hey, I'm taking pictures. I didn't know how
Yeah.
big of an establishment it was, but I emailed him and he said, yeah, you can come take pictures. I don't care. But uh, longer story short, he kind of let me just come there and start photographing to cut my teeth and
Yeah.
get an idea. Because the first show, those first pictures I remember taking are kind of disastrous because I didn't really know how to get started. I didn't know what to edit with. Like, am I just going to use Lightroom? Like,
Yeah.
it's
You got to
been
start somewhere.
trial and error since then. Yeah.
So how did that cross in with your burlesque work? Because I saw on your feed and you sent me some work from when you started getting your stride with your editing
Uh,
style. And
yeah.
there was a lot of like just burlesque work that's popping out equally as much as your like concert work. Talk to me about that.
Well, when I was just taking regular pictures, I just kind of tried to figure out what do I think is cool and how can I make it look cool. So anything from wrestling matches to cemeteries to just like pictures with negative space in them, leading
Yeah.
lines, just a whole bunch of subjects. I'm not too good at like going out on the street and taking pictures of people because I'm a rural kind of person. And
Yeah.
to me, it would seem kind of embarrassing and rude to just go up to somebody on the thing. I'm going to get you.
I feel
Uh,
the same way. I don't know how
yeah.
people in New York do like just daily street photography like that. That seems so intrusive. Like I could never just walk around my town and be like, "Hey, stranger."
Yeah, I mean, I'd get into an altercation immediately, but
Yeah.
it's a great way to meet people and hear stories, and I need to get into it more eventually. But so I've always just thought of like what would be cool to photograph, and I don't have a studio or anything, so you see these pictures of like people that take these really stunning pictures of these like ladies in like lingerie or like things like that, and I just think a
Yeah.
lot of it's cool. Burlesque has always looked cool, BDSM kind of stuff. It's just fucking cool because it
Yeah.
goes against the grain of what I grew up like being made to believe was normal or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to embrace it. And if I can do anything to elevate somebody else's art or self-expression or what makes them feel good, I want to try to help in some way. Because
That's
with
awesome.
burlesque, these ladies and men in some cases, like they bare their souls and their bodies literally to people that want to see. And that's just brave to me. Cause like
Yeah.
I'm, you know, I'm not too, confident in my looks or anything. So the fact
Yeah.
that I see people be brave enough to just do this, that's cool to me.
Very
So,
cool.
again, the Blackstrap, they had shown that they were going to do a burlesque show. And I was kind of thinking to myself, well, I've never really taken anything like that. It's always just
Yeah.
stuff on the street or up until that point, a couple of shows. Uh, I've never taken what in my mind is like a sexy picture or whatever, you know. And I kind of questioned it the whole time. Like I'd reached out to the burlesque troupe. By the way, their name is Fatal Distraction. They're out of
Fatal
Augusta,
distraction.
Georgia. And I just got done photographing them the third time this
Right
past
on, man.
Saturday, actually. Yeah.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and I sent a message to Kyla, the curator of it, the brains behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Told her who I was and why I wanted to do it. And I was just like, I'm not trying to be a pervert or nothing like that. I just want to take cool pictures. Like
Yeah.
it said, absolutely come out. And where I kind of got my stride, it's funny, I was just kind of talking to about this to one of the performers that I've been photographing. Carmen
Mm-hmm.
Monoxide is her name.
Right
I
on.
was I was so afraid that people would get offended or think I was trying to be nefarious by doing it, like
Yeah.
some creep with a camera with the whole male gaze going on, and it was never that intention at all. And I was afraid that, man, what if I take these pictures and like the ladies see them and they're like, "Oh my god, I look so ugly," or something. "You made me look horrible." And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
no, no, you're fucking gorgeous." So,
Yeah.
uh, I just kind of like tried my best, absolutely, to make them look as gorgeous as what they feel like they are when they're up on stage. And I threw in just different things that I thought would go well with their costumes and their theme they had going on,
Yeah.
and just tried to make them look as awesome and powerful as they could possibly look. Because I always tell people when they look at my pictures, like, nothing beats the real thing. What I do pales in comparison to actually being there and seeing it and witnessing it and doing it.
Yeah.
So, but
I think like
that's
the
kind of,
style you bring to it definitely like captures just kind of like because I feel like when you go to a show or you go to a performance of any kind, like your touchstone of it is so much more connected and just like cerebral than just like people on stage and lights hitting them. Like it's a whole just like universe going on of 1,000 different things. And the way that you bring that into your style, like burlesque or like just rock and roll photography, like powerfulness definitely what shines through. That's a great word to describe it.
yeah, because when I do the editing that I do, there's sometimes I have an idea for a photo that I think would either be humorous or just look really like fitting or cool for the type of picture that it is. And then sometimes I don't think about things at all. I don't want to sound corny, but like look at it from a instinctual kind of thing. Like what
Oh,
jumps out
yeah.
at me immediately, like when I see this picture, like I see barbed wire or I see like cracks or I see just like an aura of lights or something like that. I just try to like grab it subconsciously and throw it down.
Yeah. That's a very cool way of going about that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, it was funny. I wrote down to talk about High on Fire next. But you said Melvin's was like, was that one of the first shows that you shot? Was Melvin's?
The big
Or
deal. That was the
okay,
big
cool. Then
I
that
can't
may have been the first work of yours that I had seen. I knew it was either them or High on Fire. But
yeah,
you wanna keep talking Melvin's next? We can go to this shot of King Buzzo with all the eyes and everything going around.
yeah, it's up to you, man. That was like the first big one that I did. I'd kind of like done smaller stuff up until then. Because I think I sent you one where I'd like put Buzz and Wada from Boris together. And I remember that was like my first picture that got a lot of recognition. Like
Yes,
people
you
were
did
like,
send me
that's
that one.
cool. Um,
Hell yeah.
and I cannot remember if I'd photographed Weed Eater before that or after that, because I think that show was in August of 2023, my very first big one, which
Right
was
on.
Variety Playhouse in Atlanta.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny, your story about like going cross country to see Boris and the Melvins because they were like your two favorite bands. A buddy of mine that he's super into Melvins and Weed Eater, but he moved out to Ohio and he hit me up back in May and was like, "Hey, I'm driving back to Maryland because it's like the closest date to me that Weed Eater and Melvins are still on this bill. You want to go to the show?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, man. What do I owe you for the ticket?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know what happened, but I bought some like bundle of tickets off Live Nation for like $20 each. Don't even worry about it."
Wow.
So I reached out to either Melvin's or I think Napalm Death was in charge of like the press releases on that one. And I was like, "Hey, I've got a ticket. Can I shoot this show?" And they were
There's
like,
a
"Sure, why not?"
little bit of a story there, but whichever direction you want to go.
Sure, man. I love a good story.
Okay. Um, I'm very thankful and I'm a big fan of the Weed Eater guys.
Hell yeah.
Um, I guess they, depending on who and where you are, is who considers these bands big. But to me, Weed Eaters,
Definitely.
that because I've had like co-workers like, you photographed anybody big? Yeah, High on Fire, Weed Eater, and they're like, I don't know. I was expecting,
Yeah.
like to Mariah Carey or the Rolling Stones. Like it's not like that. But the Weed Eater had played the Blackstrap. I was like, that's an opportunity.
For
Went
sure.
and got pictures of them. They were okay. They kind of sucked. But then they came back around a second time and I'd gotten my stride a little bit more, gotten a little bit better. And Ramsey and Shep and Dave, they had kind of taken notice in some of the pictures. And
Mm-hmm.
how I usually get shows is I just take the Nardwuar approach and just ask.
Yeah,
That's the best thing you can do. Find somebody to ask. And
exactly. That's all it takes like 90% of the time.
I'd reached out because I saw that Ramsey, their drummer, had liked some of my photos, and that's kind of how we like. I reach out every time now. They know me. I wouldn't. We're friends, but we're not talking every day friends. Like
Yeah, yeah.
they know who I am, but it's not like, hey, I'm coming over this weekend. We're friendly with one another, but
Yeah, you got
want
that
to.
professional friendship level.
Yeah, I don't want to boast that like, yeah, we're sending memes and shit.
Yeah.
It's not like that, but they're good guys. They're wonderful. So every time I've just reached out to them and asked, and they said, yeah, absolutely. I'm always like, this is going to be the one, like, you're doing this too many times, man. Leave us alone.
Yeah. I have
But
that fear every time I hit up Guar. I'm like, I've annoyed
yeah,
you way too many times over the years. There's no way you're gonna still let me in.
but yeah, they're fun to talk to. They're friendly, sweet guys, and I love them all to death. And I'm very thankful for what they got me into because that High on Fire picture you picked, uh,
Yeah.
it was because of them. And then the Melvins and Napalm Death shows again, it was them. So they give me that little boost up.
Hell yeah, man. Did
Yeah.
they also get you plugged in with that Guar show or one of the earlier Guar shows that you shot? Because I know that they were opening for Guar a couple years ago.
No, I forgot what got me into that. I think that I think I've photographed Guar 3 times maybe now.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
I
the
remember
first
with the Jizmac shot, I remember seeing the notes you wrote to
Oh,
Jizmac for the
yeah,
first two. That
yeah,
was so
no,
fucking funny.
shockingly, the thing that got me into the Guar show, I reached out to John Brannon of Negative Approach.
Well, hell yeah.
Yeah, a fucking hardcore legend, and he responded to me on Instagram. Again, you miss half the shots you don't take, you know?
Exactly.
And I just, like, sent him a message, like, 'cause I like Negative Approach, and
Yeah.
Guar was kinda like a bonus on that, and I was like, "I've never seen Negative Approach before, and I've listened to that record for a long, long time. It'd be cool to come and photograph." And he was like, "Absolutely, young man." I was like, "Oh, way to go. I'm not that young anymore, but, you know." So, yeah, again, thankful to him. It's cool when artists are, like, seen to us as, like, these legends, and all this shit took place before we were born, so we kinda have to question, was this even real? Like, or is it
Yeah.
like, a fantasy land that was curated for us to buy records and shit like that for? But to see, like, a legend like him just kinda like, "Yeah, absolutely," still have that DIY artist support artist attitude. He didn't matter
Yeah.
anything.
Let's talk about the High on Fire one, because the one
Okay.
that drew me to that specific one of Matt was, like, the hands, and, like, are those clay hands that you have, like, layered in behind? Because it makes me always think of, like, when you see, like, Matt just kinda ripping a solo, and then, like, you see the people playing the hands
Yeah,
up in the air to
people,
him.
like, warming their hands and
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But yeah, I think they're clay hands, but they kinda looked like they were made out of ash to me, the whole High on
Yeah.
Fire thing. So I think on that one, I'd envision just like a crowd reaching up, or maybe just like these, because I think Matt Pike is big on, like, for lack of a better explanation, like Dungeons and Dragons kind of lore.
I
Like,
was gonna say wizardry
he's more Lord of the Rings than Star Wars. So, like, maybe just like these, I just kinda, like, try to get in the mindset. I'm blasting High on Fire and trying to get in the mindset, some kinda thinking, maybe it's like all these, like, dark oracles from some other realm, like, reaching out to take him away, and he's battling them away with his guitar or something. I try to There's a
Love
whole
it.
bunch of different things I just think about to see what I can get, so.
I absolutely love it, dude. That's they almost remind me of, like, what is it, like, the terracotta army or whatever, just, like, all the clay soldiers of just, like,
Oh,
thousands of years in the past, like, it's transcendent.
uh-huh.
Do you always listen to, like, the band that you're editing while you're editing the photos for them, or do you ever, like, switch it up to get a different weird headspace for it?
Uh, a lot of the stuff I'll play, like, will influence, like, what I do in the pictures, so sometimes, yeah, if I need a little bit of inspiration, I'll, like, listen to the band, like, when I photographed Squid Pisser, like, I'd never heard or seen Squid Pisser, but they look fucking cool, and, I think I'd listened to a little bit of them before that, and they were just really erratic and spontaneous, kinda like Phantomus was back in the day. And The Locust, who another one, RIP that band. I don't think they're gonna do anything anymore, but that's what it reminded me of, The Locust and Phantomus. So I heard that and I knew I wanna photograph them guys, and it'll be a challenge for sure.
Challenge is an understatement when it comes to shooting Squid Pisser, because that is like shooting in the middle of just like a night terror that's just constant strobe light going off.
But yeah, I'll listen to the bands, or I'll put on, like, I like listening to scary stories. Actually, it's kind of this is what's propping up my iPad right now. I got my
Hell yeah.
scary stories to tell in the dark. I'll just I'll throw on like short scary stories in the back to just kind of like have a subconscious feel or whatever. It's calming to me just listening to ghost stories and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I throw them on sometimes, or I'll just throw on some scary stories to listen to while I'm editing.
Nice. I'll usually just kind of throw on like I'll start with the band if I'm still kind of like in the residue of the night before and it's the next morning when I'm editing. But I found a lot of the times like what I'll listen to definitely has an effect on like the editing that goes into it. And I've done some trial and errors with just like throwing on just like live sets of a complete like I'll just throw on like a Motorhead live concert. And it works sometimes if the vibe matches, but I've listened to just like a true crime podcast while trying to do just like some
Yeah.
comedy show shots, and I'm like, I gotta
Like
I
that
gotta rethink this mixture.
I'm a big fan of juxtapositions. So murder mystery or murder true crime, and then like, a comedy show. That's brilliant. I like that.
It turns interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh man, I've been zoned out listening to this disappeared person for a while. I gotta throw on some King Gizzard or something.
The juxtaposition's a word that goes with me because I was always a big fan of that Reservoir Dogs scene with the ear and Stuck in the Middle with You.
Yeah.
It's such a happy song, and then this horrible atrocity going on. So
That's
I
one of me
love
and my wife's like the earliest songs that we would like listen to when we started dating. And yeah, just the juxtaposition of that scene will stick in my head, but I'll hear the song and I'll think of just like summertime driving and new love, but then I'll also think of just like a brutal beating.
Yeah, I love how songs or music will tie to certain memories or things like that because nobody that has seen that movie can hear Stuck in the Middle with You and not think of it. It's impossible.
Exactly. Let's go on and talk about the Nick Cave at the Anthem show. Cause that
Oh, boy.
that's a far away from home for you. And I
That
had
is,
one
mm,
when going through the photos, I picked one, and then you had sent me one that was the most proud moment for you. So I was like,
yeah,
perfect,
I worked so fucking hard to get it.
nice,
I guess that is the biggest show to date, and that's one of 3 artists that I told myself, if I get all 3 of them, I quit. There is an
yeah,
expiration date to this. I don't know. I would like to do this for as long as I can, but at some point you might wanna have to hang it up. But I told myself if I photograph these 3, I can't go beyond that. So he was one. Uh, I had been trying to get bigger shows because eventually you get blocked by tour managers and PR people,
yep.
bigger
Eventually,
venues
Live Nation
like,
steps in and says,
uh, and then venues are like, sorry, no photographs. So I'd reached out to the Melvin's PR person, and I don't know if I should name drop her or not, but she is a real sweetheart. I sent her an email explaining myself again, what I wanted to do and why I wanted to do it. Like, this is like the biggest deal ever for me. Like, can you allow me? And she was like, absolutely. And if you've already bought a ticket, I'll give you a pass. But the same person that does PR work for Melvin's also does it for the Jesus Lizard.
okay,
The Jesus Lizard came back to life after 20 something years of no record.
yeah,
I've seen them before and they were touring. I was like, I love the Jesus Lizard. I want to do that. And I'd reached out to everybody I can, like local musicians, the venue, and was getting to know. And I was like, okay, I'll email her again and see. And she'd sent back the message like, sorry, but we're just doing like syndicated stuff. I was
yeah,
like, okay, well, I don't have a syndication. I don't shoot for anybody. But through a mutual friend, I'd heard of this person that did do it. And I remember when I kind of started out, I'd ask him some pointers and put 2 and 2 together and like, hey, I'm wanting to photograph this Jesus Lizard show, and you have like a PR thing. So do you think I could shoot the show for you? And he was like, send me a portfolio. I'll take a look. And he's the only person ever that I've spoken to that did not like my photos. Uh, I,
damn,
I'm not, that is not an ego thing. It's just like, I remember that. And
yeah,
the reason he didn't was because like photos of the show should be presented as you were there witnessing it. And I was like, I humbly disagree. I'll show the show how I saw it. or
Yeah.
whatever. But he said you do good enough work to take photos. So if you write a review, and I offered to like give him clean photos for his site. Uh, and that's what happened. So I posted my first review and shots of that show, and we were going to do more work together. And I kind of told him, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds are going to be coming around on this date. I'd really like to do it. So he's like, well, we'll definitely see. I've worked with his PR people before, and they're real hard asses. And okay. And the dates kind of got closer, and I kind of bring it up like, Nick Cave's coming around. I'm willing to drive up to DC because I have for other bands before, like the Mummies and shit like that. Uh, and he's like, we'll see, we'll see. And about 3 or 4 weeks beforehand, like, are we going to pull the trigger or not? And like, after all this time, he just said, no, I don't think we're going to try.
Not even gonna give it a shot?
I was like, well, I've found his PR people, and I'll just like send an email, because like he was very distinct, because to his credit, he's been in the business for like 10 plus years,
Mm-hmm.
built his little thing up. It's his reputation. But here is the series of events. I found the PR person for Nick Cave, emailed them again, and they said, sorry, but we're only doing like syndicated work, and we have very limited photo things. So I was like, well, I have somebody that I've shot for in the past. Would you be willing to accept it if I were to present you with like a syndication? She said, yeah. So I'd reached out to the guy like, hey, I talked to her. All she needs is a syndication. I didn't drop your name or your publication or anything. And I got the most angry email. How dare you step over my head? Do you know how long it's taken me to build this up? Do you know how many people like just send out emails to get into a show for free? I was like, oh, well, sorry, I wasn't trying to overstep you. Fuck me, I guess.
Yeah.
No means no. I'm not firing you, but don't you ever do this again. How can you fire me if you don't pay me?
Yeah.
And,
Can't fire me. I did all the legwork, and you still are against
yeah.
this.
And to no discredit towards the guy, he takes good, clean photos and everything. I believe in what he's doing, but that was just a little harsh, man. I didn't really
Yeah,
accept
it's
you. Um,
that's a bruise to the ego
yeah,
if
it's
I've
like,
ever seen one.
geez. But anyway, I go to a show a week later at the Earl in Atlanta to see a band called Moon Destroys, because my buddy Juan Montoya, that's his band now. He's previously of Torch. And I go down there and I'm taking pictures, and I'd known Juan since like my teen years. Like, I met him because I tried to sell him a ticket to his own show that I was going to see. And we've been friends ever since. But at that show, I noticed another photographer there, and didn't think twice of it. But later, when I posted my pictures, I saw that he posted his pictures of the show, but he was doing it under a publication named Concert Hopper. And I just kind of thought, there's another syndication. And I
Yeah.
reached out to him. His name's Xerxes, and got to talking to him like about publication work and like, how did you get under Concert Hopper? And he's kind of telling me. And I was like, I told him the situation I just told you. And he said,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm actually the editor of Concert Hopper. Do you want me to try? Because like, it sounded like the other guy just needed a Snickers, he said. And
Literally.
I was like, all I'm asking is for you to ask. And he sent the email, and boom, they said, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's just a weird turn of events. Like, I just accepted I'm not going to photograph Nick Cave, but
The
like,
universe had other plans.
exactly, like, he wasn't afraid to get a no, and
Yeah.
we get a yes out of it. That'd be great. So I got the yes, and there's a whole contract that I'm not to sell the pictures. The first two songs only.
Mm-hmm.
Stand behind tape. So Nick Cave doesn't like cameras, it sounds like.
Yeah. You figured out the way to get your camera to him, though.
Yeah, it was just in my review, I had to write another. I don't like writing reviews because I worked so hard to write a good one. I'm not that great of a writer. Um,
Yeah.
but that one I took pride in. I really tried. If anybody ever, I don't think anybody's read it, but I get really sentimental in there. And to sum up that whole experience, it was something that I'd wanted to do because I believed I could do it instead of
Yeah.
somebody telling me that I could do it.
That's
It was
incredible, man.
it was like the first thing that I wanted to see that I could do it because I believed I could do something that big and whatnot.
Yeah. And there's power in just literally self-belief and asking people, "Hey, can I do this?" And like those are the two key ingredients. And having a story like that like the proof is in the pudding right there, that's
Mhm.
incredible. I will
Yeah, yeah.
read that story and I will add it in the description of the show cuz
Oh,
like
yeah.
I love when just all the stars align from the universe for you to get like one of your key goals like that. I love shit like that, man. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. But
Absolutely.
again, it was a big deal, and, I can do this because I believe in myself, and I wanna full go through with it, so
Yeah. This whole concert photography journey has been like, I believe in myself and I think that I can take cool pictures of the bands that I like. And it has like it's just worked. That's all it
yep.
takes.
At the end of the day, I just wanna take pictures.
Exactly.
I always tell people, like, I'm not trying to score points. I'm not trying to meet the band. I'm not gonna, like, eat their face out of excitement or anything. I just wanna take pictures,
Yeah.
how I enjoy a show.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome, man. You got
mhm.
any shows coming up?
Uh, quite a few, actually. I've made myself busy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be if I can get everything, I've just got things that I'm gonna try to do. Let's see. I got a local thing at the Blackstrap for a band called Way of Fire by Way of Fire. A buddy's band of mine.
Nice.
Another drag show at the Blackstrap. They're doing one every month there. I'm going to try to do that band Brat. They're playing
Hell
in
yeah.
Asheville. I'm going to try to do that, and then Daikaiju at the Drunken Unicorn in Atlanta. That's just what I've got lined up recently, and so yeah, I got a couple of things lined up. I'm going to try
That's
to get.
awesome, man. Excited to see more pictures flowing from your feed.
Yeah, and getting started in all this, like, I guess part of what kind of wanted me to get started taking concert photography is I'd always gone to concerts, and that's kind of where I felt comfortable at after going to so many. Like, for a lot of people that don't usually do it, it's like a big deal for them because they don't go out to shows. They go to maybe amphitheater concerts and stuff like that once in a while and drop like an arm and a leg on tickets nowadays.
Right.
But like this is just like Tuesday and Wednesday for me. It's like what I do.
Yeah.
So,
And then
but
just punching in
being
for work the next day, being like, "Oh, another night."
yeah, so I was kind of looking for a little bit of a community to call my own, so I could feel like I was a part of something. Because I have friends and everything, but I've still always kind of got that feeling of just being alone in a sense. So I'm really thankful for the friends I've made through this now. Because at that Melbourne show, the first one I did, I ran into a guy named Mike White out of Athens, Georgia, and I didn't learn until afterward. He's like a local photography legend, like that's been in the business for like 20 plus years, and he's photographed everybody from like uh Harvey Milk and the B-52s, I believe, to things
Dang.
like uh I think he did recently. Oh shit, who's that Texas band? Sharp Dressed Man. They just my
The
brain.
ZZ Top?
ZZ Top, Iggy Pop, Judas Priest. He's photographed them all. He's been in the business, and I'm like, he gave me a whole lot of pointers to start out with, and has just been really helpful in trying to tell me how to do things or giving me tips like, yeah, they'll let cameras in there. And, he's on album covers, magazines,
Yeah.
international. So he's been a big help. And another one, Jerry Mize, she's the house photographer for the little East Atlanta dive bar venue 529. Like,
Okay. I've seen some of your work from 529, and I don't remember off the top of my head what band it was, but it was like the first one on the series, and it just had the big 529 in the corner of it. I love that photo just because of the 529 and lights. It looks so cool.
but yeah, I try to incorporate what I can, and if I can incorporate the venue, then too, yeah, I'll do that. But like Jerry's work is fucking stellar. She's a workhorse. She's always going after it, getting it. She's living a dream right now. And looking at her pictures has kind of like inspired me to try to get back into some of the stuff that I hadn't done in a while, like just her normal pictures of, things like that aren't concerts. It's just really admirable. And I love her stuff. And she and I shoot together with 529 a lot and building each other up and stuff like that. But people I've met along the way have really been worth it because feel like I'm a little bit a part of a community now in
Hell
some
yeah, man.
I feel
That's a
included.
very powerful feeling, being part of a
Yeah.
community. One thing, last thing I want to talk about, but it's one that's like you were saying, photos of things that aren't just like the things you normally shoot. I saw a bunch of just food popping up in your feed. And then when I saw I saw at least one or two posts from Wawa, and I was like, Wawa after a show, dude, nothing tops it. Especially after a Guar show when you're just like drenched in all the blood and everything, and then the people in the Wawa are like, what happened?
Yeah. Usually I'll go get pho after a show when I can afford it.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember specifically after a Guar show, I had gone to get pho just covered in blood and everything, and it was like 2 in the morning. But if I can afford things like that, then I go for it. But Wawa came in handy at Nick Cave because I did not have a lot of money. Like I'm getting better about that. I'm getting some stuff paid down to where I have some pocket change and stuff. But I was able to afford a hotel room for one night. So I decided I'll do the hotel room the night of the show and I'll just sleep in my car.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
because I'm not a stranger to that given my teen years.
Yeah.
But I just like kept my fingers crossed and parked in an inconspicuous place in a parking garage and snoozed. So
Yeah.
I think I got lucky because there was a Wawa and they had like $2 hoagies. So
Dude, nothing better than Wawa Hoagie Fest.
yeah, and I kind of forgot you throwing back to that Jizmac to Gusha picture. I know you'd asked about that.
Hell yeah.
Um, the third time was a charm. I finally got to go up in the rafters and take one from above because, like, every time I'd seen him, there was just this mountain around him. I can't.
Yeah.
Drummers are the typical hardest thing to get a lot of the times for a lot of folks, but I usually try to do something and get them. So
Yeah. And then, like, they're the hardest member of the band to shoot just as it is when the band isn't Guar, and then throw on just like playing on top of just like a volcano or whatever their set happens to look like for that tour. It's like you forget the Jizmac's there half the time because he's just playing in a mountain.
yeah, he exists. He's real.
Yeah. The shot that you got, like, including all the drums on it to him, that's such a fucking sick wide shot of him.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've definitely noticed like repeat things that I'll do for a lot of things. Like I've been told that a lot of the pictures I take remind them of a playing card,
Yeah,
and I can see that. But in my head, I've always thought like of a kaleidoscope in a way.
definitely. I see that.
Yeah, like just something like that. And now that I look at them, like, how does my brain not see a playing card? Maybe once or twice when I thought of one, but I'm always thinking kaleidoscope, kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
but like sometimes there's slight variations on things. It's not a complete mirror image. Like the sticks might be posed that way, but in the mirror thing they'll be posed like that or something.
Yeah,
It's like I try to convey action in some of my photos
it definitely
because
comes across.
yeah, somebody said that it reminded me of them of like old Thrasher pictures from the skateboard magazine and stuff. So
Definitely.
trying to create action in a shot and whatnot.
The other thing that I saw just like very apparent when I was like scrolling through trying to narrow down the specific ones to talk about was just like every single photo on your feed just oozes passion and just radness. It's incredible, man. I love your work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I sometimes wonder if more experienced photographers, example, I wonder if like Becky DiGiglio would see my pictures and just be disgusted because they're altered so much. Because her pictures are still they're experimental in a way, and they're raw to the point to where they look almost surreally real. But she doesn't really throw a whole bunch of like effects on them. I've seen her do some like kind of double exposure stuff, but they're still grounded is a good way. They're just raw and grounded. And I remember finding another photographer that goes by the name Tinfoil
I
Biter.
was literally about to ask you if you were familiar with Tinfoil Biter's work because you're like yours is on par with hers where it's like the extremeness of Becky's work, but then just kind of like all the extreme like layers and just like how she fits everything together. Tinfoil Biter's work is incredible.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the most unique photographers out there, and she's another one that kind of inspired me to just like go against that grain that I keep bringing up, like be unique and different. And uh, AF Cortez is another one. His shit's
Yes.
uh, and I there's always that sense of like I'll look at something and I'm scared that I'm stealing from somebody, but I just have to tell myself I'm not really. You gotta kind of recognize inspiration versus just blatantly ripping someone off. So
I
there's
had
all
that I had a
yeah.
struggle with that with when I started like pushing the extremes of like the black and white photos that I was doing. I was like I love Angela Owens's work
Hmm.
and like I don't want my work to look like a blatant ripoff of hers. But then I had like a mental conversation with myself where I was like, you are not the first person to do like extreme contrast black and white with hardcore punk bands.
Yeah, and Jim Jarmusch, there's that quote by him that says like good artists borrow but great artists steal. And I
Yeah,
think he stole that quote from somebody else, so he made a point. But I guess there's always that fear that you are, but nobody's the first to do anything nowadays, really.
exactly.
You still make things your own, and you just give credit to the people that, got you to that point. You just remember to give credit. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, those three that I just mentioned have kind of like guided me in trying to find a different way instead of just snapping a picture and whatnot. So, cause I mean, I get a lot of good feedback. I know the queens that I take pictures of, they all love the work. The ladies of burlesque, they love it. And so far, every band that's looked at my stuff has liked it enough to like invite me back when I ask again. So I must be doing something right. And I get a lot of support from just local musicians and photographers, and really thankful that they're so humbling to me because, like, I still feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like,
Hell yeah.
I hold everybody else that have gotten me to the small point that I am in my life, like above me. They're way better than I'll ever be, as far as I'm concerned. Like, my friend Alex, uh, she kind of started about the same time as me, and like I've given her a lot of pointers that she's asked. That's another weird thing. I got to a point to where people asked me for pointers. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to ruin everything. But I know that she got an opportunity to photograph Mastodon with acid bath, and
Hell yeah.
it was her first big show, and she reached out to me for pointers, and I'm like, man, you're asking me, like somebody thinks I'm doing something right, but she's doing phenomenal work, way better than me, as far as I'm concerned. And I just, want to keep cheering everybody on, because like there might come a day where I'm just like, I'm not feeling it anymore. I need to quit. But you
Yeah.
guys keep going. You're doing way better than I am, that I ever could.
Hell
So
yeah, man. I feel like at this point, I wouldn't even look at it as like they're doing better work above you or anything. It's at this point like you have the unique work that you're doing, and like those are just your photography peers at that point. Like certainly there'll be people that you look at like, "Oh my God, I'll never be in this person's shoes" or anything like that. But now
right,
it's kind of like you have your own style that's definitely like unique to you while still like showing your inspirations from other people. You just do different work than other people, and that definitely stands out in a good way.
you're right, and that did remind me. I ran into Alex at the 529 for like Crowbar and I Hate God, and Jerry was down there, and that's the first time me and
Mm.
Alex kind of connected after a while, because we'd been at some shows at the Blackstrap before, because her husband's band Lungburner, she's kind of like the photographer for them. And I remember this local band had wanted me to photograph them at the Masquerade, which is kind of like a rite of passage for a lot of bands around the Atlanta area. And
Hell
they
yeah.
wanted me to do it because they liked my stuff, and I just couldn't make it. But I was like, I can't make it, but ask my friend Alex. I think she'll be free, and she does good stuff. And she told me that that was the first time she got to photograph at the Masquerade. And I was just like, well, you can do it. Go for it. Absolutely. They're a great band, and you'll have fun. And she ran into me afterward, and she was splurging on my work, and I'm just a humble idiot. I was like, she said, yours is so much better than mine. I was like, don't say that. It's just different. It's not better. It's different from mine. So you're right. It's not about anybody being better than one another, just different in the same kind of, field that we're in.
Definitely.
But we're all in it together. We got to keep everybody's spirits up. There was a quote from this local comedy magazine called Chunklet Magazine. They made these stickers that said, we're all in this together. And then underneath it, it said, except you, you're a dick. So whoever that might apply to that thinks of it, I always think of that when it comes up. Henry Owings, Chunklet Magazine, legend in the music business. He's like a music historian for Georgia, pretty much.
Hell yeah.
Uh, he was responsible for a lot of the cool shit that I saw when I was a teenager growing up in the area that I did. So I credit him for a lot of my passions for going to shows, because he was always a promoter that made it worth it. Like the first time I saw Jesus Lizard was at the Variety Playhouse, and he was behind the promotion of it. He's a huge Jesus Lizard fan, to say the least. Um, that was the first time I saw these big red curtains that the Variety had like open up. Like I remember all the music stopping, the lights center on the stage, and the red curtains were just up, and then they just open up, and there's Jesus Lizard, and David Yao is like sitting on the drum set, all fucking cool. And do you know anything about the Jesus Lizard?
I'm not too familiar with the Jesus Lizard.
All right. If you want some homework later, just that man invented crowd surfing, as far as I'm concerned.
Hell yeah.
But those curtains opened up, and they kick out their song Puss, I think it was. And he just barrels towards that crowd and does what he does best. He just jumped right on them. Like, give me something to stop the bleeding. Like, didn't even give anybody a chance. Those curtains opened, they start, and he just like, boom, like a missile, just right out in the crowd immediately. But
That is awesome.
yeah, Henry Owings was a big credit to like just a lot of cool shows, and kept me going, because some of the shit that he put on was just insane, like seeing Sun play in an actual church, like stuff like that. Just this evil drone metal band of guitars. Are you familiar with Sun at all?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got to see them in a church because of him. Just
that's so cool.
desecrate the whole thing. So set off the fire
Were
alarm. The
there
fire.
were like church shows a thing in your area when you were growing up, like a younger band type of thing? Because I remember when I was growing up, we had this there's this church called All Saints that would host like all the bad kids and then the bands, but like you could be like,
Yeah,
no, mom and dad, my friends are
those
playing at a church, so it's
those
okay. Nothing nefarious happens there.
yeah, those neo-Christian youth outreach things.
Yeah.
Um, in my days of being in a band in my late teens, early 20s, yeah, we played a few little church things and we didn't get invited back. So, but yeah,
A
yeah,
one and done type of show.
that was kind of a that was kind of a thing for a little while. I didn't go to a lot of them because like I was going to like shows in Athens and Atlanta and shit like that. But I played one, at least I can remember, and I just remember like we're not gonna do that again. I think we're gonna seek some other kind of stuff. Like, okay, that's fine with us. We played a show, so who cares?
Yeah, man. Well, I think that's going to do it for all the photos we got today. We hit the hour mark on the dot. That's perfect.
Good deal. All right.
Hell yeah, man. I'm going to stop this recording and then it's going to be like a little debrief of like, oh, that went so good. I'm proud of you. let
Nice.
me stop that recording, but yeah. End of episode.